Hi, this is Little Dwarf playing games while rambling incoherently into a microphone. Why? Well, just because I can. And I continue with Tyranny blind. I'm approaching the camp of the Scarlet Chrous here, but before I enter, let me go around the walls and see if there's anything interesting. A rotting body bearing Scarlet Chrous war paint is skewered upon a wooden pike. Is that one of those who tried to turn back? You know, take another step and I'll pin your foot to the dirt. Are you talking to me? I guess so. Okay, what is your problem then? This is ridiculous. We have bigger problems here. It proves everything. The warrior slams her fists together in a resounding clap. Like, for instance, whether you're fit to lead that flock of children. Behind her, the members of her gang posture with weapons held at the ready. Did you not hear the news of the edict? This is a foolish distraction. We ought to be saving our fight for the enemy. The chorus warrior looks at the gang, giving them a quick nod. Okay, so they are preparing to fight each other for sport, which is pretty stupid if they are planning on using actual sharp weapons, which, knowing the Scarlet Chrous, might very well be true. He's right, the edict will kill us all if Ascension Hall is not taken soon. Well, until Fifth Eye starts mastering the chant, we ain't got nowhere to be. She just gestures to the gang across from her. Now's our chance to have it out before things get serious. What's the problem here? No problem here, Lord Binder. She tosses her blade in the air, catching with a smile on the way down. Captain Fackwit here seems he's about to balk from this challenge. Thinks just because he used to run a ship, he's qualified to run a gang. She spits on the ground, looking up with a scowl. I'm calling him out because the way I see it, his warriors ought to follow me, not this new blood. Captain Fackwit was my father. Fackwit will do just fine. The warrior points at the opposing gang. If we have to prove our strength, we'll do so happily, but I'll have your hands and feet removed, and the rest of you kept for my own use. No, this is foolish, don't do it. Like, I don't particularly care for them. Most of the Scarlet Chrous seems to be comprised of, well, disregarding the slaves, whom I pity, obviously. Most of the non-slaves in the Scarlet Chrous seems to be comprised of psychopaths. So it's not that I care about them specifically, but it's just so stupid in terms of resources. Like, we're fighting a war, and you're going to disembowel each other with sharp weaponry, and then we're going to have to waste resources on healing whoever one survives and burying the one who doesn't. Like, this is stupid. This is foolish. Stop this at once. Excuse me? She widens her eyes in shock. This is our way, Fatebinder, and you have no right to stop us. We are not harming anyone outside the chorus. I don't know who you are, but I don't need your help. He looks back at his gang. I think we can handle ourselves just fine. No, but this is... I disagree. They are harming people outside the chorus by wasting Kairos' resources in the middle of the war. Bickering amongst yourselves costs us the war effort as a whole, so it does affect others outside the chorus. I could kill one of them, or like beat one of them, but that would be hypocritical if you ask me, because that's specifically what I'm trying to stop. So, bickering amongst ourselves, it costs us the war effort as a whole. It does affect others outside the chorus. The gang leader spins her knife for a moment, as if her answer balances on its edge. Fine. With her answer, she flicks her knife to the ground and walks away, a spiteful glare cast in your direction. What? Did you expect my thanks? Piss off. Okay. Is there anything in this direction? Not really. Oh! Well, I spoke too soon. There is.
Sorry, I can't.
Now these are Chorus grounds. State your business or get lost. How does he drop the anchor if he can't take his armor off? Keep your thoughts to yourself, Chorus maggot. What? But what does drop the anchor mean in this context? Like, does she mean take a shit? Or like piss or whatever? Like, what's the anchor in this metaphor? Well, because if the question is how does he shit, the answer is in his pants and also with great difficulty. Which, to be honest, this is a nightmare. Like, disregarding, which, the social stigma is already pretty huge. I wouldn't like to be known as the soldier who routinely shits himself, even if that's because I had no other option. But it's also a nightmare when it comes to wound treatment. I think it's very easy for him to like get an infection. The guard places her hands at her belt as you approach, gripping the hilt of a blade. Past this point is Chorus territory, and you don't look like someone's conscript. You're sure you're in the right place? I am Stanis Javert, Fatebinder of Tunon. I am here to help vanquish the Oathbreakers. I think I was told to expect somebody, but you seem too ugly to be him. Her lips crumple into a smirk. Why exactly should I let you in? And more importantly, what's this hulking ton of iron doing here? The guard gestures at Barrick with a sneer. Okay, I can push her, which I will do, because that's non-lethal, and I very much feel like the Scarlet Chrous, they respect shows of strength. Something like that is likely to make them better predisposed towards me, so step in close and push her down. Gain favor with the Scarlet Chrous. Before she can draw her blade, you advance, place your foot behind hers, and give her a stiff shove on the shoulder. Caught off balance, she tumbles backwards, triggering an outburst of laughter from the other guard. I can't believe you sussed the Fatebinder. You're such a stupid ponce. Didn't I tell you we had a special guest coming? The guard waves you in with a smile. Come on in. And don't let the ninny-shitters in the camp give you any guff. And watch yourself, Fatebinder. The guard watches you coldly. A soldier nods at you. Oh, there are some prisoners here, tied to wooden stakes. Which is a better alternative, being tied to a stake is like several steps better than being put onto a stake. Death Knell. Let's talk to that person. You? As much an accusation as a question, the broad-shouldered woman shakes her head with a scowl. So you're Tunon's Fatebinder? I was expecting something more impressive. She bows in spite of her misgivings. Death Knell, Scarlet Fury. My name is yours for as long as it amuses me. My time is yours. The fighter effortlessly spins a bronze sword in her hand. Let me get one thing clear. Stick to your words and law, and leave the fighting to the grown adults. Your corpse would just be a tripping hazard to those of us having a proper bit of carnage sport. We've got enough of useless twats dying for our name as it is. All our horde recruits seem good for as of late is piling in shit-wreaking mound. Is piling in a shit-wreaking mound on the battlefield. She hums low to herself and flips her sword aside, from side to side, with several deft flicks of her wrist. Keep up, and we'll have to toughen our recruitment standards again. Now, what do you need? I think I am going to threaten her, because if she attacks me, I'm pretty sure I can take her. I'm the protagonist of this game. And again, I feel like they would respect that. Insult me again, and I'll bury the blade in your belly before you can scream. And you know, insults and threats are free. They are not, you know... I am sort of trying to avoid actual violence. Threats of violence are entirely fine in my book, especially if they work. Insult me again, and I'll bury the blade of yours in your belly before you can scream. Yeah, you've gained favor with the Scarlet Chrous. She peels a surprised but pleasant laugh at your threat, tapping the blade, the flat of the blade against her thigh. She cants her neck until it audibly cracks. Maybe there's something more to you Fatebinders after all. How has the military life treated you so far? Oh, it's the wonder of wonders. I eat what I want, I shit where I want, and I kill who I want. Sometimes I even combine the pleasures. She winks at you. My enthusiasm for work brought me here. A decorated Scarlet Fury veteran, eh? But I'm looking for advancement. If it means killing one of the gang bosses, I'm not above taking a swing at someone bigger than me. They can be bigger than you. Just make sure they don't hit harder than you. Wise words, sister. What is your role in the Scarlet Chrous? Knell frowns, her eyes narrowing. Do you not recognize a Scarlet Fury when you see one? We are the warrior spirit of the Chrous, scholars of the sword and shiv. She folds her arms, puffing her chest out. In peace, we train those tough enough to endure our lessons, but wise enough to learn from the best. In battle, it is our duty to slay our foes and inspire the horde with our skill and bravery. Knell clicks her tongue, looking aside to the others in the camp with an eye roll. We are a fearless vanguard of this confused but glorious rabble. What can you tell me of the Scarlet Chrous? We are the voices of Nerat's glory made manifest. In the Chrous, strength rises and the weak feed the soil. Knell smiles, standing tall as she extols the army. Our ways terrify the cowardly and shock the naive, but our traditions exist to offer promise and prestige to those fit to claim it. We abandon all petty rules for one simple law: the strongest must lead. What were you expecting? Let's see. Knell counts on her fingers, conducting some mental tally. From your deeds during the conquest to how you've helped us since then. I expected a mountain, a warrior of colossal size, who could shout a rampart wall into submission. She smiles, but I think you'll do just fine. You said something about the horde thinning? Swelling until it's thundering, then crashing and receding. It has been the way of the Chrous for as long as I have been in it. She offers a one-shouldered shrug, ambivalent if anything, but more likely just uncaring. We take our prisoners alive, give them a chance to live, to be reborn into something better, putting any and every able body to the sword like the Disfavored. Like the Disfavored do is nothing but a waste. A conquered enemy is but a new ally. It merely requires a proper coercion. Of course, we do sometimes have the problem of lingering loyalties. Deserters are rarely successful in their escape, but they do try. The veteran guards, strengthened by the numerous blood ties, have been particularly stubborn, so I've got a better plan hitched. And what might that be? I'm thinking we redouble our efforts to recruit settlers, focusing on the unaligned and unsuspecting, instead of flashing ourselves to the guilds with oathbreakers claimed from the battlefield. How exactly do you plan to convince them? A knife point has sufficed well enough in the past, but you've inspired me to try a more diplomatic approach this day. What do you say, Binder? You might be able to ease them into the idea and save the lives of their friends and neighbors in the process. I am conflicted about this, because isn't it I am also a bit unsure of how exactly does the ranking of the Scarlet Chrous work. Are the new converts slaves? Do they advance later on if they survive their first battle, or are they already free? And in that case, what's the difference? Are those who agree to join, quote unquote, voluntarily, free people, but they still take slaves? I am confused on that point. And I obviously think nobody should be forced to join this marauding band of psychopaths, but my line of thinking is, maybe if I can convince them to join, they can escape later on, which has been happening. So if it means expediting the end to this meandering conflict, so be it. The Fury howls a satisfied laugh and smacks you dead on the back. My methods are surefire, you'll see. I'll mark the settlement on your map. She grins, biting her bottom lip bloodied. I can't wait to see the outcome of your efforts. Okay, farewell. I guess that's all, as far as talking is concerned. These arrows are splintered, their fletching mottled. They were likely pulled from corpses. This barrel is full of murky red water. Severed limbs bob under the greasy soup skin. Battle plans are scribbled over the bloodstained map of the Tears. Arrows points towards the inner ring of Vengeance Valley, and smaller circles are drawn around the citadel. Most of these provisions are withered with rot.
See that? Ah, got it.
Salveros. I guess those are some Disfavored that serve in this camp. I can't be happy about it. Hail, Fatebinder of Tunon. The disfavored officer pounds a heavy gauntlet against his chest in a stiff but warm greeting. Were I a betting or a superstitious man, I would say fortune must favor me today. I am not. But I am pleased to meet you all the same. Now, what brings you to my little slice of personal damnation, otherwise known as... He spreads his thickly gloved hands wide. This here mud and shit stinking chorus camp. Our lives are at risk, and even then, you can't get along with the chorus. Begging your pardon, sir, but I've never fought a battle where my life wasn't on the line. He shrugs. Kind of the nature of war, isn't it? Well, yes, but you're making it more in danger by not doing everything in our power to take Ascension Hall. Although, again, it's a little silly that nobody comments on the fact that it's a year away. It's a date. We have an entire year to do it, which, is nowhere near as dramatic as having 8 days. Why are you stationed with the chorus? From the way most of my days go, you'd think I was here to row with the with the Blood Chanters and Scarlet Furies, but my post is to represent the disfavored interest before the Fifth Eye and the Scarlet Choruses for Iron Marshal Arenas. Not that I've gotten to do either, in so much as the last span. What do you think of the Scarlet Chorus? They are rabid dogs, the lot of them. Even a screamer racing head-along into battle like a hound. Ever seen a screamer racing head-along into battle like a hound chasing a winter hare? I have, and I can tell you, more often than not, it's the screamer who ends up skinned and gutted. Leave the campaign to the chaos that is the chorus, and we're doomed. You act as if it's a punishment to be assigned to this detail. Isn't it? I know I fucked up to get here. Got 3 days in the hole and a nice little promotion to go with my new post. Well, I won't be making the same mistake again when it comes to the Iron Marshal. He juts his chin towards the distant valley. I should be out there fighting for Ash's glory, not standing here ready to run back a report should something ever finally fucking happen. Have they been cooperative? And no one tells me anything. They all lack honor and discipline. Don't think they could cooperate even if they actually wanted. He grunts. I guess I shouldn't be surprised, considering they serve the Archon of Secrets. I think I'm going to spook him a little. Like, I don't really care that much, but it might be interesting to see his reaction to being chided. You speak ill of one of Kairos' generals? No. You must know, I meant no disrespect to the Overlord, sir. He shifts beneath the weight of his armor uncomfortably. Besides, only a dumb shit or a dying man would insult the voices in his own camp, and I don't intend to be neither. Well, to be honest, you kinda already are, which is a point I would agree with. You know, the voices of Nerat, he's incredibly creepy. He can enter your mind, so, you know, insulting him anywhere is not really that safe, it seems to me. Have you anything you would like to report, soldier? Maybe you've noticed something unusual during your time here. He cants his head to one side, taken aback. What about the chorus isn't unusual? The army itself is a strange, malnourished beast. But no, the screamers seem mostly in order, sir. And I haven't been spying, if that's what you're implying, sir. Still as a post, he studies you sharply, scarcely appearing to breathe. Of course, even if I was, it would be damned near impossible to learn anything from this shit sty. Fifth Eye and those damned Furies don't even look me in enough for me to do my detail. And it's not for the lack of trying on my part. What do you mean? I'm not just here to keep a steady eye on the Oathbreakers, who they've given too much freedom after conscripting. I'm here to be a resource for the benefit of both our armies. I can provide insight regarding proper stratagem and request a stock of troops from the Iron Marshal Arenas for reinforcements if needed. But they won't listen to me, nor confide in me, nor fight besides the brethren I could request. Okay. Seems it sucks to be you.
Will do.
Talk with those prisoners they've taken. Varia Kell. The Fifth Eye must authorize all prisoner visits. Okay. I guess I have to talk to him first. These spears are brittle and rusted. This formerly deadly sword has seen better days, swaying to the left and pitted with corrosion. The blade lacks killing power and balance, making it more a threat to its wielder than its target. The blade can be sold to a merchant or as spare parts. Now, I'm pretty sure bronze doesn't rust. so I'm not sure what they meant there.
Sorry, I can't.
The stench of piss and fecal matter emanate from this tent, one clearly not used for rest. What? Who would make a latrine inside a tent? The Scarlet Chrous truly are savages.
Sorry, I can't.
Go away, I have nothing to say to you.
Sorry, I can't.
Yeah, no.
These threadbare tents show sign of heavy use and long-term exposure to the elements. Well, look who we have here, chewing on some manner of cud. A heavy-set soldier flings spittle and crumbs as she talks. The Fatebinder finally shows himself. I'm Reg, the second soldier chimes in, and this is Baz. We were wondering when you might pay the camp a visit. The Fifth Eye has been a little starved for attention. He ordered us to watch you like a troublesome babe. Make sure you don't get out of line. She knits her fingers together, joints cracking as she smiles. Reg clears his throat loudly, scowling at Baz. Something like that. If you have questions, ask us. Good luck finding anyone else in the camp who will give you answers, or even a smile. So, anything we can do for you? Well, tell me about yourself, Baz. I was a sellsword at the beck and call of some fat merchants, just another dented face in the crowd. After too many years of spilling blood in local skirmishes, I realized I was only killing time. Then Kairos showed me a better way, unity, purpose. Now I fight for something, not just someone. Been watching the Scarlet Furies practicing my blade work. Not good enough to join them yet, but I bet I could show you a thing or two. Tell me about yourself, Reg. He scratches the back of his head, at a loss of words. I had a family, a farm. Then the chorus came, and well, now all I have is the chorus. Priorities change when you hear screams in the night and feel a blade pressed to your neck. Things like farms and families don't seem much important. I used to have nightmares about the culling. Felt awful, remembered how I hacked my mom and dad to bits just so that I could survive. When the Scarlet Chrous conscripts a village, they hold a ceremony known as the culling. Every able-bodied man, woman and child is given a weapon and forced to fight their family and friends to the death. Those who survived are deemed strong enough and free of old ties to join the army of the Voices of Nerat. Man, as if I needed any more reasons to hate the Scarlet Chrous. Like, truly, they are despicable. You know, there is evil, and then there is this. Like, I much prefer the Disfavored. At least you know what you can expect from them. They are ruthless, but it's a sort of structured and orderly ruthlessness. Reg's eyes, shadowed for a moment with sorrow, take a feverish gleam. The Fifth Eye heard me howling one night, pulled me out of the horde, and took an interest in me. Now I am studying magic, calling fire from nothing. If my ma and dad could see me now, they would be so proud. Well, I doubt it. You've killed them and joined a band of murdering assholes. That's not something that most parents would be proud of. Tell me about your time in the Scarlet Chrous. Reg and I were conscripted at the Gates of Judgment. He used to fight for Okon, and me for Azure. Baz chuckles, scratching her chin in thought. How many fights we have survived so far? 11? Reg begins to count in series across his fingers. No, 14. I count each day in thunder separately. The chorus is... Baz looks about the camp and shrugs. Not as bad as it smells. The strong, like me and Reg, we're allowed to take what we want, what we deserve. We live only as well as our strength affords us, as it should be. What can you tell me about the fifth eye? Reg trades an uncomfortable glance with Baz and lowers his voice to a whisper. They say that he shares a direct link with the voices of Nerat. Guard your tongue around him. He's a little... well, bloodthirsty, mad. She thinks for a moment. Brilliant. Reg flinches and glances over his shoulder. I was going to say eccentric. The chorus isn't picky about who joins the ranks, so you can expect to find some unusual types. Most are as likely to kill you as to promote you. What do you know about Vendrian's Well? The walls might seem imposing, but the Vendrian Guard do a better job of hiding its weaknesses than fixing them. She shrugs. We took the citadel once before, and we can do it again. We have to, don't we? Reg looks at the imposing tower of the spire. Though Kairos knows, I don't want to stay any longer than necessary. She follows his gaze and shakes her head. You should know better than to parade your cowardice before the Fatebinder. It's no cowardice, it's just superstition. Are you afraid of the spire? I'm sorry, Fatebinder. I shouldn't have mentioned anything. He sighs. The fact of the matter is that we are told to stay away from the spires and old walls ever since we were babes. All of them dumb childhood lessons that fell by the wayside. That one stayed the same. Imagine a soldier of a chorus pissing himself over architecture. More like what's underneath it. Reg frowns. The Bane lurk around those old sites and kill anything they can catch unaware. I've no wish to meet the Bane in combat unless there are 100 blood chanters at my back. She twists her lip into a frown as she considered these. Me neither, I suppose. Baz, what can you teach me? Let's dance, Binder. Okay, you can teach me bows and dual wield and unarmed. Now, she would be interested in dual wield, so let's do this. I'll keep the rest if there's some other skills that would be useful for her. Oh, I guess I can train her in bows as well. I've had her use one for now. And what can the other guy? Do you feel strange? Yeah. Ever since the Fatebinder spoke the Kairos' edict, I felt like bugs were crawling under my skin. They notice you approach with mixed expressions. Didn't see you there, Fatebinder. What can we do for you? Reg, show me what the fifth eye has been teaching you. We'll make this valley burn. Okay, you can teach me magic stuff and lore, which are both things that I'm pretty interested in. So... okay. Now, she has leveled up. We can have a point of dexterity. Save that. Attacks made with bows gain armor penetration. Sure. You know, passive skills might be kind of boring, but they have this advantage of me not having to remember to use them. Small marks have been painted onto this corpse, marking certain body parts as more difficult targets than others. Okay, I've read this before. Snigler daggers. Snigler is an interesting name. Upon noticing your approach, the merchant straightens his posture and smiles. What an honor! The name is Snigler Dagos, originally from the relative tranquility of the Northern Empire. I've since accepted a nomadic life for the sake of keeping Kairos' forces supplied with only the finest goods, local and imported. Let me see your wares. He winces a little. It's not much, but let me see if you see anything that piques your interest. Okay, Scarlet Fury, blah blah blah. Expression Core. Sigil of Channeled Strength. It's pretty cheap. I am going to buy those sigils because I can use them for. For crafting spells, right? Now, do I have anything to sell? Okay, this seems to be mostly trash. Okay, I'll trade this for now. I'll read the scrolls. Now, how does this compare to what they are using? Barrick. Okay, the Disfavored shield. Plus 19 parry. Okay, so this gives me a bonus to endurance. Might be worth switching. Hmm. 100. More DPS, more accuracy, a little less penetration. Sure, I think I might switch this. A scroll sits here, glowering with mystical energy. Read it. Learned a new spell core, Sign of Illusion.
Can't do that.
Okay, let's talk to the fifth eye then. The Binder of Tunon arrives, squealing with teenager's timber. The fifth eye's voice makes your gums itch and your fingernails feel in need of a trim. And we just finished having a bit of sport with some captives. But worry not, we'll have some more fun with another batch momentarily. Dressed in the bronze-red regalia of the Crimson Spears, the fifth eye beckons you to stand close, wagging a blood-splattered glove. The Crimson Spears are the personal gang of the Voices of Nerat. These top enforcers of the Chrous answer only to the Archon of Secrets, and all gang members must follow their orders as if they were words of the Archon of Secrets himself. In contrast to the poorly equipped mobs that they command, the Crimson Spears are armed with fine bronze and rigorous training, and their skills are regularly tested by rivals of their status. In the Scarlet Chrous, even the top gang leaders must be ready to prove their strength if they wish to lead. It's a distinct pleasure to see you again, Firestarter. No doubt I and my gang might not have lived to see this day had you not taken charge of the disastrous assault of the Vellum Citadel. He jabs the finger towards you for emphasis. You've made a wise trade, a few disfavored lives for hundreds of choirmen. Kairos would approve. It was assumed that the sages of the Vellum Citadel would surrender in good order to the Overlord's forces. So the small force sent to accept the surrender was caught unawares when the scholars violently defended their library fortress with an arcane assault. The death of the disfavored leader made you the most senior commander, and you saved the day, not with brave heroics, but with calm resolve. Stepping into the commander's role without hesitation, you ordered the disfavored bulwark to advance and provide cover for the hapless choirmen, who were an easy target practice for the sages flinging magic from upon the parapets of the fortress. While a handful of disfavored warriors fell, hundreds of conscripts were able to flee to safety. The Chorus is quite pleased with your leadership of the siege. The disfavored naturally consider your plans a disaster, for in the Legion's estimation, only redeeming value of the Chorus is its wealth of expendable, replaceable lives. Now that you have issued the edict and doomed us all to die, have you come to help us climb out of this hole? Chirps of laughter emanate from under his mask. I'm not here to follow your every order, but we need to work together to stop the edict. No, how has the camp responded to the edict? Let's answer this first. With mewling, bawling, an occasional orgy, and frequent vomiting. Shrill, tittering laughter escapes from under the mask. The bloodlust is there, but so is the fear of failure. Should our glorious horde fail to overrun the citadel, we will surely all perish. I mean, I don't see the disfavored pulling their weight. I'm not here to follow your every order, but we need to work together to stop the edict. But of course, you are Tunon's concubine, not mine. I envy your long leash, and hope you will grace us with your prowess, if only to set an example for the rabble. We know that the Oathbreakers are focused in the citadel beneath the mountain spire, and we have learned that is not their only nest. The fifth eye wags a hand in the air with a high-pitched squeal of displeasure. Given their pattern of attacks, there must be a second group maintaining camp here in the outer valley, and unless we deal with the second group, they'll attack from behind the moment we cross the river. The disfavored think you can't control the horde, and that many are defecting back to the Vendran Guard. Wrong, and perhaps he gestures with his spear in arc towards the sprawling camp. It is no mean feat to herd these many desperate lives. For every 2 hands of humanity, there is at least 1 finger that snaps from the stress of our ways. A few have been lost to the margins, I won't deny that, but if you store grain, expect some rat feces, and if you lead killers, expect some desertion. So you need help talking to these Oathbreakers. While a good old-fashioned slaughter would be an efficient solution, the smarter answer is not to kill them, but to add their strength to ours. My last group of scouts returned with a new batch of prisoners, and one of the prisoners claims she can lead us to the Vendrian Guard's secondary camp, though there are shreds of deception in her voice. I could use your help questioning this Varya Kell. Perhaps you will get less screams and tears, and more useful information out of her. If we knew where to ambush the Oathbreakers, we could try and take their captain, and show him the wisdom of joining the cause. I am not going to goad them into bringing the prisoners to the voices of Nerat, because for all I know, they might actually do that, and then there is a possibility he will like steal their minds or whatever. I will speak with the prisoner. I will meet you there. She is waiting by the other prisoners. The Fifth Eye, commander of the local Scarlet Chrous, surveys his camp. Watching in stillness as all manner of violence and revelry occur around him, he offers a slight nod as you approach. Was there anything else? Well, I can ask all of the questions, to be honest. Is there a reliable quartermaster in the camp? Talk to Stigler Dagos. He's wise enough not to steal from you, and he'll only cheat you a little bit. He's over there. He points nearby to east. But he has the important honor of arming, or trying to arm, all of my merry little conscripts. So don't expect Kairos' armory or anything. Who's the strongest in your camp? I am, naturally, says Verse. Well, the Archon is, without question, the mightiest in our camp. Knell is the master trainer here, and she's almost tough enough to take me. She's a biter. Don't tell her I told you that, but she can be trusted. But she can be trusted to fight in need. And while her humility is lacking, Verse is correct. She's been running with the Furies even longer than Knell. Too bad the skill and puissance did nothing to save her sisters. Sounds like you're insulting my friend here. Do I detect a hint of fighting words in your voice? Then I must have spoken in error. I meant no offense. I wished only to convey that Verse is a true survivor, an embodiment of the kind of grit that the chorus reveres. So kind of you to step in and protect my honor that way, because I'm clearly incapable of speaking for myself. I might have figured she would like it, but she doesn't like me very much as it is. What do you know of the Disfavored commander? Iron Marshal Erinos is a doting warrior, just like the Archon of War. She's one of the few select Disfavored cautious and cowardly enough to be trusted with the Archon's iron toddlers. No doubt their primary qualifications include being related to Ashe. The Legion is a little big into its pedigree, if you catch my drift. Okay, that's something I didn't know. I didn't know that she and Graven Ashe are related. That kind of, has a distinct smell of nepotism to me. Keep insulting my commander, and I'll slap that mask off your face. Not that I'm eager to see what's inside. To be honest, I kind of feel this feud is a little childish from both sides, so your mutual disrespect will be our unmaking. Do I need to discipline you both? No, not this time, perhaps. I will respectfully save your censure for when I need to act in a more despicable manner. That day is no doubt nigh. We are not children to be corrected and set in line. I have long distrusted the court for treating us as such, but I won't challenge you at this juncture. He nods to the Fifth Eye. Say your piece about the Iron Marshal then. Though I am loath to speak highly of her, I cannot deny she is a brilliant swordswoman, and the other Disfavored seem to take her seriously, despite the serious stick that's popped in her backside. What can you tell me about Ascension Hall? At the center of Vengeance Well, at the base of the mountain spire, he points to the northeast, where the spire cuts a vertical line rising above all other mountains on the horizon, is a small fortification. Ascension Hall is the name of the citadel's inner council chamber. We had left a garrison when the valley was first taken in 429, with the citadel being the base of operations. When the Oathbreakers staged their revolt, the garrison at Ascension Hall was defeated. Makes sense that Kairos' edict would demand that we burn this rebellion back to its point of origin. What is your role in the chorus? While the whole of the chorus remains loyal to the voices of Nerat, I am truly the most loyal. His voice became wistful. Oh, so loyal of his numerous warriors. He's a Crimson Spear, part of the Archon's inner circle. Dozens of the stronger gang bosses answer to him, and from there the orders trickle down to the rest of the army. I am the Archon's martial retainer and humble servant. I am his eyes and ears, but also his mouth, for I speak with all the authority when he is absent. He twirls his flanked spear in his hand, and I am his killing edge when the rabble is moved to war. When did you take the vows of the chorus? Unlike most of the conscripts here, I did not need a cudgel against the head to see the wisdom of the Archon of Secrets. I proudly joined the chorus in the nascent days, left my home in the Bastard City to join in with the incoming chorus, and the rest is glory and history. These days, you follow chorus or die. We who chose the path and killed to defend our place are the old guard. Even if it has been 2 or 3 years, the chorus has a short memory. She nods to the fifth eye with a grudging respect. Now, if I ask this again, there were more questions? What's your role? Good thing you mentioned loyalty twice. Now I'm really convinced. He stares at you, arms folded, saying nothing. Did you ask for this honor? I didn't have to. The voices of Nerat saw the need inside of me, and through his arcane ministrations, burnt away the clinging, clawing parts of me that foolishly resisted his enlightenment. Yeah, that's what I feared. That's what I feared you would say. Disgusting as I find this creature, the fifth eye is not the only one who has suffered changes in the service of this war. No indeed, you ironclad behemoth. He looks at Barrick up and down with interest. Have you ever considered jumping ship and enlisting with the chorus? With strength like yours, we could have you leading a decorated gang in your first week. If I ever jump ship, it would be to sink at the bottom of the waves, beyond the reach of you and your parasite of an Archon. Are all Crimson Spears as odd as you? I would not ask you to speak of other Fatebinders, and I will not speak for the other Crimson Spears. He's odd as fuck because he's an eye, not because he's a Crimson Spear. The Spears are a cold, determined bunch. Eyes are a breed apart, owing a fraction of the Archon of Secrets' madness. Let's speak of something else, which is apparently nothing, so let's just continue towards the prisoners. Choirman, let the Fatebinder speak with our catch of the day. Very well. Please, someone, I wish to bow before the voices of Nerat. I thought all could find redemption in the chorus. A woman in the makeshift armor of the Vendran Guard lurches forward in agony. Her soiled, trembling legs suggest that she has been forced to stand for days. This one, he flippantly waves at the prisoner, was hollering earlier that she knows the location of the Vendran Guard encampment, but she isn't being entirely honest. I told this thing. The prisoner turns pale at the moment, before a look of determination crosses over her face, that I wanted a guarantee I would live and be welcomed into the chorus as a captain. Then I'll talk. Otherwise, they'll just kill me once I've opened up. I was dumb enough to join the Vendran Guard, but I'm not dumb enough to give away my bargaining bronze. You claim you would disavow your people for the Scarlet Chrous. Why the change of heart? Because I want to live, and you don't need to be the Archon of Premonitions to know that the younger realms are gone for good. She blinks several times, catching her breath. Kairos is the new strength of the Tears, and I would rather stand with his Archons than be crushed by them. Tell me what you know, and I can see to your release. I've heard the chorus is looking for Captain Pelox Florian and his crew. I can lead you to them, but only if you release me. She turns her head, taking a long look at the skewered and smoldering corpses around her. She tugs at her restraints, but to no avail. Apparently she's lying. You're lying. Why don't you tell me what you actually know, and I'll see about saving you. Well, you see, shaken by your demand, her lips move wordlessly for several seconds. So I don't know where exactly the rest of my crew is, but I can tell you. She shakes her head, catching her breath. Search that one. Search that one. She reaches up with her left leg and points with her foot, calling attention to a nearby pile of corpses. The tall dark one, missing most of his face, check his left boot. He was the literate one in our crew. He had the orders. With a snap of his fingers, a pair of choirmen yank the boot off of the fallen guardsman. A rolled parchment slides off of the boot and is thrust into the fifth eye's hands. He unfurls the scroll to give it a read. It's nonsense, just a mash of words. Laughter erupts from under the mask. She said she had information and she gives us garbage. Slay this wretch for wasting our time. He snaps his fingers at the nearby Scarlet Fury, who promptly snatches a long knife from her belt. I will give her the chance to maybe swear loyalty, because she can renege on it later, and if they kill her, she's just dead. So I heard her say she would swear fealty to the voices of Nerat. An initiation rite would be in order. Seeing how you're an expert on the subject as of late, I will entertain your wisdom on the matter. What then would you propose we do with her? Send her back as our agent. When the time comes, she will aid us, or we track down her kin. Okay. This idea has merit. Even outside of this particular situation. Like, I would do that if I was them. And in fact, that's my theory about why so many of the Vendran Guard are supposedly escaping. My money is on at least some of them being controlled by the voices of Nerat and being allowed to go back. But I will choose this, and hopefully she just manages to escape and somehow lives later on. Send her back as our agent. When the time comes, she will aid us, or we'll track down her kin. Apparently the Vendran Guard didn't like this, which is interesting because I'm doing it, like, to my mind, I'm bluffing. I'm just letting her go. The rest is fluff. I will need to think of a good explanation for my escape, but I'm certain I can return and avoid suspicion. Thank you. You'll not regret this act of mercy. This will end amusingly for the what? This will end amusingly, for the Vengeance Guard would be smart to assume she only escaped by our whims. You there. The fifth eye barks at the pair of guardsmen, beckoning them forward. Release our newest recruit. She has orders to infiltrate the Oathbreakers. See to it that she is escorted to the river's edge. Varia inhales deeply, flexing her fingers as she shakes off the stiffness of being tied to the post for days. I will return to the Vengeance Guard, act well my part, and await further instructions from the chorus. With a nod, she follows her escorts out of the camp. We are no closer to finding the Oathbreaker's position, not with this cryptic mess. She promised us answers, and all she gave us was gibberish.
Sorry to interrupt, but I highly doubt it's gibberish. More likely, it's one of the local scripts.
The voice comes from another prisoner, tied next to Varia, an older gentleman with quills, ink vials, and parchment scrolls. One finds on the sages of the School of Ink and Quill. Ink smudges cover his cheeks, temples, and ears. His clothes appear charred, and between the rips of fabric you spot burn scars along his arms. Despite being emaciated and tied to a post, he offers a beaming smile. Read the parchment for yourself first. You unroll the parchment and see a message of modest length, written with the professional, albeit hasty, penmanship. The Tearsmen speak the canto just like the Northerners, but they have half a dozen different ways of writing it. This particular script is unknown to you. Who are you?
I'm Sage Lantry, one of the hired quills that was coordinating missives between the Vendrian Guard captains. They aren't paying me anymore and aren't coming to my rescue. So I'll decipher that parchment for you. That's what smart prisoners do, right? Make themselves useful?
Running a household or an army requires a great deal of logistical know-how, and it helps to be literate and capable of maintaining your own records and ledgers. Most leaders employ assistants known as hired quills to log harvests, schedule payments, balance payrolls, and dictate letters to friends and rivals. Can you read this?
Well, let me see. I can't.
You hold the parchment in front of the bound sage, and his eyes dart down the length of the missive. He reads the words a second time, nodding in silence.
I don't know exactly what it says, but I'm half certain that's Sage Selwyn's handwriting. I'm sure I could decipher that in a few hours' time. Don't need my hands free, but I think better when not tied to a post. I know, I'm weird that way.
A few hours? Either you can read it or you cannot. What use is a sage that doesn't know the letters? I've heard all that I need to hear. I say we have some fun with this one. Well, it can't hurt to give him a few hours. He's already our prisoner. You've read the edict. I don't need to tell you. The sundial is working against us. This old bag is just trying to stall us. Untie him and give him a chance to translate. Are you giving me orders, Fatebinder? Does this look like Tunan's court? Last I checked, only the Archon of Secrets can tell me what to do with a prisoner. The Crimson Spear pounds his staff on the ground. If this old man wants freedom, we shall give him a fair shot at a trial.
Fatebinder, I beseech you, be my advocate for this trial. I'm no fool. I know the chorus uses blood, not words, to settle these matters. But you are a servant of the Archon of Justice, are you not?
He obviously has useful information, yet you're willing to let him die for sport?
Clearly you need an education in Scarlet Chrous justice. Anything that satisfies their sick amusement is fair play. If the Conquest is any judge, there are no limits to their depravity.
Did Graven Ash castrate you during recruitment, or do you just not know the meaning of the word fun? I'm actually curious.
With a shake of his head, the fifth eye gives you a shrug. Is it not obvious? If he is a true enemy of the Overlord, he will perish by our blades. If he can survive, then he is strong, and the strong lead. Thus his crimes will not be crimes, but simply the actions of the mighty. What's not to understand? This isn't alchemy. Well, whatever. I'll be his champion. This one needs to live.
Good. I like it when Tunon's puppies get their paws dirty.
I wouldn't mind taking a swing at some loudmouth chorus braggarts myself.
Did you hear that, brothers and sisters? Raising his arms to the sky, the fifth eye roars for all nearby to hear. A trial by combat is upon us. The sage is unbound from the post, stiff legs nearly buckle as he attempts to walk, and his arms flex and flail in their new freedom. Wiping sweat and grime from his brow, the sage steps closer with you with a nervous smile. Rhythmic roaring and stomping of hundreds of feet in unison flood the camp. Horsemen begin to circle and swirl about, brandishing weapons and cheering. If they got this worked up to fight the enemy, I'd venture the war would be over by now. Begin the chant of gathering. Let the warriors know that tonight's entertainment will soon commence. Brothers and sisters, who among you set the standard for strength? Who among you will help winnow the weak from the strong? The fifth eye waves his hands in the air, drawing in a gathering of Chrous soldiers. Our claimants have been assembled. Now let the trial of the Oathbreaker begin.
I'm not here to pray. Can't wait to try this.
Okay, I'm pretty dead.
That again.
Actually.
Will do. Right.
Pay attention.
Okay, wounded. So that's the new guy? Let me read that so that I know how to heal the wounds. Okay, so I need to rest or level up. By the righteous shedding of blood, we have found our answer. Regrettably, it appears the sage is worthy of leaving our camp alive. The fifth eye offers a short, mocking bow to Lantry. By the customs set forth by the voices of Nerat, you are free to go, old man. Brag to your grandkids that you fell afoul of the Chrous, yet lived to tell the tale. Are you hurt? Well, you are, but not in any lasting capacity. I'm jostled by it, but fine. Now I believe I have a parchment to translate, lest I anger the powers that be. Well, much of the parchment was weathered, but I could make out some important parts of the text. The note makes mention of a meeting spot west of Tripnettle. So the old sage knows his words after all. I would ask you to travel ahead and see if you can't get this Captain Florian to yield to the Chrous. They will strike at first sight of a Chrous gang, but perhaps they will parley if yours is the face they see. I know the area. I suggest we go at once. I'll show you the way. I'm eager to be as far from the stench of this camp. You're offering to go with me. Why? Because the alternative is what? Living here with those illiterate brutes? My only studies under a river of fire. My old studies under a river of fire, and there's no family missing me. And besides, I'd much rather chronicle the binder that twice proclaimed an edict of Kairos. I'd be a fool to let someone else write your story. You want to chronicle me? Well, of course. Even if the burning library is never rebuilt, our work to chronicle the days and the events needn't cease. You're a noteworthy player in this whole war. I can't think of another living Fatebinder that has been twice given the honor of proclamation. There's something amiss. There's a lot of fight in you for old scholar. Now you're offering to join this expedition. I've met sages every bit as cutthroat as the hardened gang bosses. They act the part of doddering scribes, but don't let that fool you. Smart for someone of your age to be so mistrusting, but I'm not with the Oathbreakers if that were what you're fishing at. I worked for them under duress, but I've got no love for them. I'm not about to pledge to the Chrous, and the Disfavored wouldn't have me. Still, I consider myself a Kairos-fearing vassal of the Overlord's empire all the same. For as long as I've been a scribe, I've been trained to defend myself. We don't spend all of our times biting books and sketching wildlife, just most of it. For centuries we've been in a quiet war with the School of the Tides and the School of the Wild Wrath. You can't travel alone, as much as I do, and don't know the bronze dance. And your little quill dagger, just for decoration? Well, I mean, sages always have to have a quill ready, so I just sort of blended. What? Sages always need to have a quill handy, so it just sort of blends into the ensemble on a casual glance, and the customary term is bladed remix, but who's keeping track? Sure, whatever. If you're so eager, come with me. Splendid. You won't be disappointed. I know I may seem old and frail, but I know how to step lightly and how to not get killed. Really, I won't slow you down. Lead the way and let me know if I can be of service. Are we done here? Let's hightail to Tripnettle. If our new pet doesn't behave himself along the way, I'm not above clipping his ears. Okay, travel to Tripnettle. Do you have anything to add? Offers a slight nod at your approach. No. Okay, so I can just leave. There's nothing else to do here. Apart from, I guess I can rest a single day so that he heals. I literally have 300 days until the edict triggers, so I shouldn't be that afraid of it. Magic defense, sure. Although spell strength, let's go for this. Channel a burst of energy from your magic staff. What else do I have? Leadership, defense, power. Grants a bonus to lore skill. Grants additional spell slots. Wasn't aware there even are spell slots per se. Sure, channel a burst of energy through your magic staff, damaging all enemies in front of you. Sure, might take this. What are you waiting for with this? That's Lantry. Lantry leveled up. He's a mage as well, right? Okay, so he's a healer. Improves control life skill. What does it do? Do I even have it? Empowers Lantry's renewal ability, granting an even greater increase to weapon damage. Okay, so this is some kind of a passive buff. I'll take this. What's this control life? Okay. It's just a flat bonus to a skill. That's not increased magic defense. Okay, that seems like a better choice. Okay, everyone has leveled up.
Right.
And I'm generally ready to leave. Next time I will talk with both Lantry and Barrick, because they haven't done that yet, and if I were to judge by verse, the companions actually get pretty extensive dialogue. But I'll do that next time, because this episode has been long enough, so I'm going to save it here and end it for now. That's all for this one, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!